Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. It is me, Britt Reacts. And well, Obama is over it. He's over it. He's over them. And he is telling the Democrats to toughen up, Buttercup. Let's see the whys and the hows and the whos and all the whatnots. All right, this is a CNN clip. Go ahead and throw the tomatoes now, because y'all hate CNN.
Former President Barack Obama has a blunt message for his fellow Democrats. Quote, just toughen up. Stepping out for his first fundraising appearance since the Democrats' 2024 election loss, the former president had some tough love as his party continues to struggle to counter President Trump's agenda. He told donors this over the weekend. Quote, I think it's going to require a little bit less navel gazing and a little less whining and being in fetal positions.
That is absolutely tough love. Navel gazing is a new term to me, so we're going to Google it. Navel gazing pops right up. Is generally referring to excessive self-absorption or introspection, often implying a lack of awareness of the wider world or a focus on one's own problems to the exclusion of others. Wow.
Navel gazing and a little less whining and being in fetal positions.
The fetal position is sending
excerpts of his remarks exclusively obtained by CNN. And it's going to require Democrats to just toughen. CNN's chief political analyst, former senior advisor to President Obama, David Axelrod, joins us now.
Last name.
Ax, always great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good to see you.
I remember
What
him.
do you make of the former president doing this in this way and doing it now?
Well, it's telling that he did it at a fundraiser for the Democratic National Committee that was set up to support candidates, particularly the two gubernatorial candidates in New Jersey and Virginia, Mikey Sherrill and Spamberger in Virginia. And so, I mean, if you read through all of it, I think part of what he's saying is the way you resist is by electing people who are going to pursue a different policy. And, so toughen up and, stop navel gazing and so on means focus on the task at hand. And he talked very specifically about that.
Sorry, that was me just accidentally kicking my camera. Okay. This, I think, is important. I think it's important because somebody had to say it other than, I think, the Republican Party. I think it's the truth. I think the Democrats really failed in the way of being so self-serving and not looking to what needed to change in order to actually help the people they were supposed to be helping, which is the people of America. And so I think, someone like Obama, who has a voice in the Democratic Party, is the right person to deliver this message. I do appreciate Mr. Axelrod. I can't believe that's his God-given last name. Saying, he put some more perspective on it, because you can cherry pick these quotes out and not really understand the full context. I think he is right. I think Obama is right to say that. I think, unfortunately for someone, okay, I'm going to speak for myself, as I always do, but for someone like myself who has never really understood politics or even seek to understand politics before this channel and before kind of evolving my channel into what's going on in the world. You become a mother, you become married, and your perspective changes. And for me, life is a lot more serious than it was when I was in my 20s, just running around single and childless. But for people like myself who may just be getting their feet wet and beginning to understand the government, how it works, politics, how that works, the two parties and all these things, and not just going along with what I've always been told or taught to believe, it is important, I think, for people like Obama and other figures that have a cultural push. They have a cultural effect and impact, and for him to basically stand up and say, y'all are doing this wrong and you've got to change the game. You've got to be able to navigate. The Trump administration is so good at dropping these like bombs of never been done before. You know what I mean? And like the Democrats just are dinosaurs and they just want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But you know what I mean? It's like it's not working. It's not working. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just think this is the right person to say, and hopefully it'll start to open up other people, like, again, like myself, who, especially as a Black person growing up in a non-political family. My family is not like into politics at all. I just always thought Black people were Democrats. I just always thought that. I'm like, oh, Black people are Democrats. That's just who we are. Like that party is for us, and that's, you know what I mean? And I can assure you there are tons and tons of other people that look like me, grew up like me, that think the same thing. And it only helps when you see a Democrat say, Democrats, we've got to do something different. We're not serving ourselves or the people. All right, rant over.
On the task at hand, and he talked very specifically about that. The thing I found most interesting about it, Casey, was there were a couple of lines in there. He said, stop looking for the quick fix, stop looking for the Messiah. You have great candidates running races right now, support these candidates. And, there's been a lot of discussion about why isn't he out more. I think his view, and I've had these discussions with him in the past, is that there are always new leaders. Mm-hmm. You need to lift up these new leaders, and these new leaders have to lead. And it is not appropriate or wise to look back and say, well, you come back and do it again, or you be the, and that, in a sense, that was, to me, an explanation for why he's picked his shots and why he has he's been a little circumspect and not out there constantly, because he believes that there are voices within the Democratic Party.
And also his time is done. It's time to pass the torch. Like, people want to hold on to the past so deeply. And it's like, how do we affect change if we keep putting the same dinosaurs in position? Serious question. And I don't understand. How do we affect change? Look at how the Republican Party has changed since the first Trump administration, especially now in the second administration. They have shifted. And I'm not saying I agree with the shift and all of the things, but what I'm saying is that they have shifted and they are looking at what the people are telling them they want. And so why should Obama continue to be out on the front campaigning for what? For what does he need to, for what? Let's let somebody else do it. Let's lift people up and put new people in position. And it just feels like the Democratic Party is so stubborn and hard to move in this way. And it's like watching them just continue to be okay with coming in second place. I don't know. Y'all tell me your thoughts.
And not out there constantly, because he believes that there are voices within the Democratic Party who can step up and lead at this point and into the future.
Well, David, it's interesting you picked up on that, because that also really stuck out to me, especially the use of the word Messiah. I mean,
Messiah is
Obama himself, right, was often treated like that.
The Messiah, that's
right?
True.
In the Democratic Party. And
that's true.
We've increasingly seen that our politics are driven by singular figures more than they're driven by a party or
the fandemonium. I always talk about this. The MAGA situation, to me, is way more fandemonium, fans of Trump, than it is of actual party and policy. That's my opinion. You can argue with your mama. That's my opinion. The MAGA folks, I know y'all are here. Hi, how are you? In my opinion, so much of MAGA is about Donald Trump and not about actual party, actual change, actual policy, actual anything, but just the fixation that is surrounding Donald Trump. And that is like a Messiah complex. It's like, oh, he's here to save us, a la the Pope meme, a la the Superman meme. And people keep falling for it. And it's like, that is bizarre. That is like not, no. Like, no. Obama's not a Messiah. Trump is not a Messiah. These are all faulty human beings who will and can and absolutely have made mistakes. It's not a Messiah. And we've got to remember that. And so, yeah, I agree in the way of I don't know if the Democrats feel like they're waiting for their Messiah, but y'all chill out and do the best with what you got and lift it up and make it the best that it can be. I don't know. I'm just a girl.
Or,
It's my new
people
favorite
don't trust the
phase.
parties as much, right? Obama had a hold over the Democratic Party. In a way, he was able to bring voters in to the Democratic Party in a way that others have simply not
Been able to do,
to. Is there a world where, well, it's kind of easy for him to say that?
Well, there is, I mean, I think that's a fair commentary, but I think it's also instructive to look back at that race in 2008, because one of the great appeals of Barack Obama was that he was willing to be flinty-eyed about criticizing the politics of Washington writ large, and he didn't excuse Democrats from that. And I think we're in a similar period now when what people are looking for are leaders who are willing to square up with the not just the failures of Donald Trump, which are, very well known and current, but also the things that led people to Donald Trump. The fact that so many working people voted for him, including Black and Hispanic voters, and they're looking for someone to say, how do we build something better? How do we build something that's actually more responsive to the needs of working people? How do we build something that is resistant to the influence of the money and special interests and, yes, identity politics, and build something around the things that we all share, the concerns for our families and how we make a living and how our kids are going to do better than we do. I think that's what people are looking for. But I get your criticism, and I think what he's saying is don't do that. I think what he's saying is look to the leaders you have and support them and lift them up, and leadership will come.
All right, I think that's a great place to stop. As you guys know, I'm never on the internet to be polarizing or any of those things. I just am learning and figuring it all out. Like, I think if all of us are honest, we're all doing, no matter what. Like, no one knows everything. I have said from the beginning, when I started to react to more political commentary type things, that you cannot come to a problem without a solution. And I think that was summed up really nicely in the way of Obama is saying that, right? Like, to every, there's got to be an antidote. If you feel there's a problem, right? If the Democrats feel like the Republican Party and the Trump administration is the problem, then instead of just complaining about it and whining about it and protesting and all these things about it, come up with a solution. And Obama is saying, and instead of trying to find your Messiah, look around you and look and see how we can make the best of who we have and what we have and start figuring out solutions. I just think that's it. Like, the Republican Party did a good job of identifying what their issues were, and then they came up with solutions. And whether those solutions are right or wrong, or you agree with them or you don't, they did it. They did that, and enough people identified with it that they wanted to vote it into office. And so, again, the only way to come at an issue is with a solution. That is like my motto in life. Like, don't come over here and complain about anything I got going on unless you have something bigger, better, and wiser for me. Okay? All right. As always, keep it cute or put it on mute in the comments. If you cannot be kind, take it somewhere else, because here on the Brit Reacts channel, I encourage and applaud all opinions, but I do not encourage or applaud unkindness. All right, friends? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and go and have the day you deserve. Okay? All right. Bye.